In 2011, the country was faced with several problems. First, Congress and the President needed to pass a budget. Otherwise, the government would shut down. That is, if there is no agreement, then there is no money to pay federal workers. All but essential workers would not be allowed to work. Essential workers include air traffic controllers, the U.S. military, the CDC, etc. Non-essential workers include national park rangers, passport issuers, national museums, White House resident staff, etc. Second, the government was warned that if the debt ceiling is raised, Moody's and Standard & Poor's, S&P, might downgrade America's credit rating. Moody's and Standard & Poor's, along with Fitch, are credit rating companies that determine the likelihood that a borrower will pay back debts. Since 1860, Standard & Poor's rated the United States as an outstanding borrower, a AAA rating. In April 2011, both Moody's and S&P warned the government that the debt ceiling was too high and increasing the limit might damage the country's credit rating. No one knew exactly how this would affect the U.S. economy, let alone the world economy. If America's credit rating is downgraded, the dollar might be devalued, foreign investment might flee from our shores, and Americans' ability to borrow, allowing Americans to live such a high standard of living, might dwindle. All this might cause the stock market to crash, which will result in less spending, leading to layoffs and greater unemployment. America was just recovering from the worst recession since the Great Depression, and they did not want to return. A third consideration was the upcoming presidential and congressional elections. A failed economy would hurt all incumbents, Democrats and Republicans alike. Compromise was essential. However, members of the Tea Party who compromise might appear weak and be punished by the electorate. One response to the problems is to simply delay passing the budget. Political pundits call this kicking the can. In the past, Congress has granted itself an extension on passing a budget when they found themselves in an impasse. Three problems with an extension are that first, it does not solve the problem. Second, a delay may affect the stock market. And third, Obama refused to agree to an extension. In a sense, Obama seemed to have set up a game of chicken, forcing both sides to agree to a budget or suffer the consequences, a government shutdown. When the government shut down while Clinton was president, the public blamed the Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, and the Republicans, but not Clinton. Knowing this, Obama believed he had the advantage. A second solution, supported by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, was to grant Obama unilateral power to decide to increase the debt ceiling. Such a solution will make Obama responsible for whatever happens. Furthermore, many constitutional scholars argued that according to the 14th Amendment, the president already had such powers. However, the issue was not only about raising the debt, but also about raising taxes and reducing spendings. The Republicans wanted to deal. A third solution, which was called the small deal and was seriously considered. Congress was to cut $1 to $2 trillion from the budget, which was around $3.8 trillion, and not raise the debt ceiling. The Democrats wanted also to raise taxes to further reduce the deficit. Obama agreed to a $1.5 trillion cut in spending, but not more, and he did not want to raise taxes. A fourth solution, named the Grand Deal, and officially as the Budget Control Act, proposed the debt ceiling increase by $900 billion and a reduction of spending by $910 billion over the next 10 years. The Grand Deal was passed by the House and Senate and signed into law by Obama. The bill is not expected to reduce the debt, but it will reduce the growth of the debt. Standard & Poor's downgraded America's credit rating from AAA outstanding to an AA+ good because the deficit grew to more than 11% of the GDP. The country has since recovered its AAA rating. The price of politics demonstrates that policy is always coupled with politics. And politics is often about conflict of ideologies and of personalities. Consider the many meetings between Obama and Boehner. In one of the more optimistic meetings, Obama tentatively agrees at $800 billion revenue from taxes, and Boehner, the Republican, surprises Obama by adding $400 billion, agreeing to a $1,200 billion revenue from taxes. But when Boehner meets with the Republican leadership, he is forced to withdraw his agreement. The majority leader, Eric Cantor, was particularly irritated with Boehner for assuming that he spoke for the party in keeping Cantor in the dark. When the Republican leadership rejected Obama's offer, Boehner did not call Obama with the bad news, and even more surprisingly, he did not return Obama's calls, infuriating Obama. Tensions grew between Boehner and the president. Boehner was not alone in having problems within his own party. Obama had a few problems with his party. Woodward discusses how Nancy Pelosi, the former Speaker of the House, when the Democrats controlled the House less than 2 years before, became suspicious of the closed meetings between Obama and Boehner. As the minority leader and a Democrat, she should be better informed if not attending any meetings at the White House. Obama believed that a deal could be better achieved through a tete-a-tete meetings with Boehner behind closed doors or on the golf course. He felt he could charm Boehner and believed he knew Boehner's type from his experience in the Illinois state government. In one account during a phone meeting, Pelosi reaches over the table and puts the speakerphone on mute so that all can hear Obama, but he cannot hear them talking, while they hold their own meeting. Throughout the book, Woodward focuses on the miscalculations of Obama and his inability to negotiate, not only with the opposing party, but also with his own party. Woodward emphasizes the stubbornness of Obama, the Republican leadership, and the Democratic leadership to compromise, which brought the country on the brink of an otherwise avoidable economic crisis. Again and again, Woodward offers stories of miscalculations of the president, even when these errors were inconsequential. For example, Obama invites Seidenberg and 2 other CEOs to watch the Super Bowl, in hopes to smooth the natural tensions between the business community and a Democratic president. This was especially important since Seidenberg headed the most important CEO association, the Business Roundtable. The invitation was a great idea to build good relations. Neither Clinton nor Bush reached out to Seidenberg. However, such an idea went sour when Obama ignored all 3 CEOs at the event, making them feel as if they were snubbed by the president. Woodward continues to depict the national government as dysfunctional, even petty. Perhaps Woodward sees what he wants to see. Nonetheless, what is important to understand is the politics behind the policy. To understand a different scenario and see how a government can function well, not to mention see a master negotiator in action, one could read an account of President Lyndon B. Johnson's ability to pass 2 civil rights acts, the first serious civil rights policy since the Civil War, through private meetings and personal phone calls.